Hello everyone, welcome to the channel.
Today I will be talking about the powers and abilities of Thor Odinson.
Thor Odinson, former Prince of Asgard, current King of Asgard, Master of Mighty Mjolnir, Commander of the Thunder Guard, and the Lord of the Storm. To put it quite simply, Thor is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. So I will do my best to explain and break down Thor's many powers. And I'll start with the reason behind why Thor is so powerful. All Asgardians are ludicrously strong and ludicrously durable. And Thor is a part of the royal bloodline, which is stronger than the commoners already. As many of you know, Thor's father is Odin, the king of Asgard. And what makes Odin so powerful is that he took on the powers of two of his brothers, making him three gods in one, and passing that power onto his son Thor. But what makes Thor so powerful is that he's actually a hybrid, because his mother is the pre-mortal goddess Gaia. Before the god pantheons that we know, such as the Asgardians and the Olympians, there were the elder gods. Born from the sky and the earth they came. The likes of Jothan, Set, and Thor's mother Gaia were born. In Gaia's time, she went around being the Earth Mother Goddess to multiple pantheons, including the Asgardians. So, to make a long story short, Thor is not only Aesir royalty, but the blood of the Elder Gods also flows through his veins, making him powerful enough to fight other Skyfathers even when he was adolescent. Now, on to Thor's powers. We'll start with his physical strength. Thor is every bit the physical equal of the Incredible Hulk. Thor and Hulk once got into a lockup that lasted an hour, neither one of them budging. And just like the Hulk, the angrier Thor gets, the stronger he gets, using his Asgardian Berserker Raid. As for endurance, Thor once fought in a battle for 2 years straight without food or sleep. Thor can hit so hard that he can send opponents flying into space. Thor was able to knock out the Abomination with one hit. Thor was able to hit an opponent so hard that he sent him through an island all the way to the bottom. As for lifting, Thor can hold the entire weight of a skyscraper on his back. Using a vibranium dome, Thor was able to hold back the force of a nuclear explosion. And here, we can see Thor resist the gravitational pull of a neutron star. Thor is so strong, he was able to pull Jormungandr, the world serpent, off the planet. And once, with the help of Hercules, they stood on either side of a portal and punched it so hard that it closed. Thor is even strong enough to dent Uru with his bare hands, as we can see him here using the destroyer armor as a punching bag. And now that Thor has the command of the Odin Force, he can use it to increase his strength even more. As we can see here, Thor made himself so strong, he was able to destroy his own Uru hammer, using every bit of his Odin Force energy and passing out afterwards. Now it's time for Thor's durability. During the Odin Son's long life, he has survived extreme punishment. Here we can see Thor survive the destruction of an entire planet. Here, Thor survives a blast from Thanos that is powerful enough to destroy a world. Thor can also survive the mystic fires of Surtur and take brutal beatings from insanely powerful foes such as Thanos, Sentry, Ulik the Troll, and of course Hulk, his favorite sparring partner. Thor is completely unharmed in the vacuum of space. Thor does possess a healing factor, as he has been able to heal from face-scarring injuries and major cuts. However, he cannot regenerate severed limbs, although I would assume now that he has Odin Force, he would be able to, or heal himself in some other mystical way. Now it's time to describe Thor's reflexes and movement speed. Thor's reflexes are so quick that he can deflect bullets in midair, block Captain America's shield, take out a missile while it's being fired, and dodge several giant meteors that are chasing him. So, with all this speed, Thor can appear as a blur to the human eye. In fact, Thor is so fast, he
he was able to deflect a sniper bullet. Thor can also jump insanely high, allowing him to jump all the way up to a rocket ship while it's blasting off. As for Thor's sight, it seems to be enhanced, as when he sits on top of a building in New York City, he can look down and see a crime happening all the way in Central Park. Doctor Strange was not able to look into Thor's soul because of its immortal quality. And the Space Phantom's body-snatching techniques do not work on Thor. Thor has the ability called the All-Speak, which all Asgardians possess, which allows them to speak to anyone and be understood, and they can understand them as well. The All-Speak also allows Thor to be heard in space. He can also breathe in space. Thor also has the ability to fly, without his hammer. Now for Thor's weather control abilities. Thor has complete and utter control over all the weather. I'll read a quote from Thor. It's him describing his weather control powers himself. All the power of the storm from all the world flows through my veins and can be summoned by mine hammer at any time, wherever it is. A lightning storm in Japan, mine. A hurricane off the coast of Barbados, mine again. A brace of tornadoes in Kansas, mine. All that might, all that destructive force, mine to command. Channeled and guided through the mystic might of this hammer, guided right at thee. Thor has complete control of the weather with or without his hammer, and he can control it with pinpoint accuracy. As we can see here, to intimidate Iron Man, Thor caused multiple lightning strikes in the grass to draw a picture of his hammer. Thor was even able to carve in perfect letters on a gravestone with his lightning. Thor can even attack multiple targets with his lightning at once, as we can see him here destroying a whole army in mere seconds. Thor is even able to use this in battle around other heroes. As lightning conducts with pinpoint accuracy, he can strike multiple targets in an enclosed space and not harm Captain America. Thor can even cause little mini lightning bolts. As we can see here, he causes a very small lightning bolt to strike Iron Man's hand because he didn't like him touching him. And Thor doesn't just summon regular storm weather either. It's enhanced by magic. As we can see here, he can conjure 30-foot wide lightning bolts. With Thor's complete control of the weather, he can cause mass destruction with huge thunderstorms, tsunamis, massive amounts of rain, and flooding. One time, at the request of Iron Man for a mission, Thor was asked to create a tornado that could cover the entire Earth, and he did it. Thor was even able to summon the Mother of all storms, which allowed him to control the weather on all of the realms within Yggdrasil, controlling it all with pinpoint accuracy, having it attack enemies and not harm friends. Thor's wind powers are so powerful that he can tear apart mountains and buildings with them. Thor can even generate tornadoes so strong that he was able to hold up an entire city. Aside from Thor's weather control, he also has electrokinesis, in which he can charge electricity through his body and use it to attack. Thor can even summon lightning constructs. As we can see here, he forges a lightning bolt into a lightning sword. Thor was even shown to be able to summon lightning hounds that attacked Corvus Glaive. Thor can even summon a lightning ball in his hand and shoot it out into a gigantic lightning energy explosion. Thor can summon so much lightning that he was able to blow up an entire island. On top of Thor's weather control abilities, he can also sometimes inherit the powers of Gaia, his Earth Mother. As we can see here, Thor combines his weather control powers with Gaia's Earth powers to create a rock storm in which he crushes an enemy with several tons of boulders. And from his father, he inherited the Odin Force, which is the combined power of Odin and his brothers Vili and Ve. And now, Thor has added it to his own power, making it the Thor Force. With the power, Thor can summon Golden Odin Force armor and Golden Odin Force energy weapons, and shoot energy out of his hands. As for skill, Thor has been alive for centuries, and over the years has become a highly skilled hand-to-hand combatant, and has mastered multiple weapon types, including his hammer Mjolnir. Now time to describe all of the powers of Mjolnir. Mjolnir can do so many different things, I could almost make an entire video on just it. So I will do my best to describe all of Mjolnir's powers. First, I'll describe Mjolnir's origins to explain why it's such a powerful weapon. Thor's hammer is made out of Uru metal. The Uru was inside of an ancient moon, which exploded, and Odin found the shards. And with the metal, Odin commissioned the greatest dwarven smiths to create Mjolnir. Eitri, with his other dwarves, forged Mjolnir in the heart of a dying star, forging the unshatterable Uru mallet. Its strength is on par with adamantium and vibranium. To make it even stronger, Odin blessed it with his Odin magic, giving it numerous enchantments. Then finally, to give Mjolnir its lightning powers, Odin trapped the abstract mother goddess of all storms inside of it, giving Mjolnir infinite control over the weather. Thor's hammer is an all-purpose tool, which he can use for many different things. First and foremost, it's a very powerful, unshatterable mallet made of the strongest metal in the universe. The main thing Thor does with it, or his favorite thing, is he throws it. First, he spins it furiously with his unbridled strength, and then he lets it fly. One of his hardest hits is when he threw his hammer so hard that he managed to temporarily knock out and/or harm the Phoenix Force. Thor can even throw his hammer across all the realms, as once he threw his hammer, it crossed through all the realms, all the way down to Earth, and killed a giant monster. And then he summoned it back. Thor has complete mental control over it. He can guide it directly to his hand, or he can control whatever direction it goes in. The enchantment for Mjolnir to return to Thor's hand is so strong, essentially nothing can stop it from coming back to him. Not even Zeus was strong enough to keep Mjolnir from his hand. So other than it being able to control the weather and generate large amounts of electricity, it can also summon various forms of cosmic energy. Thor can send out powerful beams of heat and force in the form of cosmic energy in numerous different ways, as we can see him doing so here. Thor can also use Mjolnir to generate energy force fields. His force fields were strong enough to protect him from the fires of the Phoenix Force. Thor was even able to generate a wind tunnel so powerful that it was able to contain an explosion from a cosmic bomb that was powerful enough to destroy 1/5 of the universe. Thor can combine all of these energies into one ultra-powerful blast called the God Blast, which is so powerful he used it to defeat Surtur and Ymir at the same time. Thor can also generate the Anti-Force, which is a beam so powerful it can shatter entire planets. On top of Mjolnir's ability to generate massive amounts of cosmic energy, Thor's hammer can also absorb energy. Once, when Kang shot a nuclear bomb at Thor, Thor absorbed the nuclear energy and shot it right back at Kang. Thor's hammer was even able to absorb the energy from a cosmic bomb and then channel it into a giant blast, which he used to reignite a dying sun. Thor's hammer even has the ability to absorb the souls of other gods and/or their godly energies. Thor's hammer was able to absorb a little bit of energy from each Skyfather from all the different pantheons, and he was able to use that energy to restart the lives of everyone in Asgard. Next up is Mjolnir's ability to absorb and direct magnetic waves. As we can see here, Thor uses the magnetic waves to lift Loki and bring him to him. Thor even used his magnetism to shut down a robot. Thor was even able to use his magnetism to rip a crashed spaceship out of the ground and up to the surface. And finally, Thor's magnetism was even able to overpower Magneto's magnetism, and Thor was able to defeat Magneto. Mjolnir can also sense things, such as other magics, dark magics, and even people. Thor's hammer was able to tell him that Juggernaut's powers were magic. Thor's hammer can even sense and disrupt mystical illusions. Thor's hammer was able to detect a group of aliens on the planet. Thor was able to tell that Loki was inside of a building because it was emanating with dark magic that he could sense with his hammer. Thor's hammer can even trace the destinations of other mystical portals. Speaking of portals, Thor can spin his hammer so fast that he can shatter the fabric of reality itself and generate portals anywhere on the world or to other dimensions or anywhere in space. As we can see here, Thor sucks the destroyer armor into a vortex and teleports it into space. Thor was even able to generate a vortex so powerful that he was able to suck the Avengers and the Agents of Atlas into it, teleporting them away from a city so they could do battle without harming innocent. Thor can also just generate gateways and hold open portals for people to walk in to use as doorways. As we can see here, Thor makes a portal into another world's ocean, making the water fall through the portal and onto a city to save the city from boiling acid. And we can see here, Thor shoves an enemy through one of his gateways. Thor can also just straight up teleport. He used this ability to escape some restraints. Thor has a special way of teleporting to Asgard, in which he simply strikes himself with a bolt of lightning. He can also do it to others, and the travel time is instantaneous. Mjolnir can increase Thor's flight speed 1,000-fold. When Thor is on Earth, and in its gravitational pull, he can fly at around Mach 32, but when he's in a vacuum, in space, with no gravity, he can fly faster than the speed of light. Now to describe Mjolnir's durability level. Thor's hammer is so powerful, it can even resist antimetal. Antimetal is a form of vibranium that disintegrates all other metals. And here we can see it destroying Scarlet Witch's bracelets and Ultron, who was made out of adamantium. But the antimetal could not affect Thor's hammer due to its mystic enchantments. Thor's hammer can only be destroyed when it's affected on the molecular level. So the villain Molecule Man has the ability to control all molecules. And he successfully destroyed Mjolnir at one point, although he states that it was very difficult due to its mystic quality, but he was still able to do it. Now it's time to go over all of Thor's gear and equipment. First, we'll start off with Thor's uniform. Over the years, Thor has worn many different suits, and each of them are seemingly indestructible, or at least very durable. Sometimes he is seen flying through suns with them, and they have also been shown to survive planet-killing blasts. But whenever his armors are shown to be destroyed, or his helmet, or his cape, or his shirt to tear, that only happens at the hands of cosmically powerful beings like Thanos, or as we can see here, Thor's helmet is destroyed by Hulk when Hulk was using an Uru hammer of his own. Thor was even able to use his cape to deflect Firelord's fire. Next we have Thor's Belt of Strength, which he only wears on rare occasions to boost his strength even more. It was created by Odin. When Odin took a part of Thor's essence and power and put it inside of a belt, just in case anything were to ever happen to Thor, they'd be able to give the belt to someone, and they would have Thor's strength to defend Asgard. But eventually, Thor himself winded up using it. Next up is Yarnaborn, Thor's axe, which he created and blessed with his own blood, making it the sharpest object in the universe. He created it specifically to be able to cut through celestial armor, which he used against Apocalypse in ancient times. So yes, Yarnaborn is fully capable of killing Celestials. Thor's next piece of equipment is his chariot, which is pulled by his two goats, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder. Both of them have the ability to fly faster than the speed of light across the universe, and can take him anywhere he wants to go. Now that Thor is king of Asgard, he has command over Hunin and Munin, the king's ravens. Both Hunin and Munin can fly at the speed of light across the universe and can deliver messages to whomever Thor wants. They can even teleport Thor as well. On top of all of Thor's gear and equipment, he also has the legions of Asgard under his command. Numerous different armies, all sorts of different weapons, and he also has his allies to call upon, such as Lady Sif, Heimdall, his trusted brother, Balder the Brave, Fandral the Dashing, Hogun the Grim, Volstagg the Voluminous, and, of course, Brunhild and the other Valkyries. And of course, Thor can call upon his friends, the mighty Avengers, whom he fights alongside with all the time, and who he deeply cares for, as he refers to them as his brothers and sisters. Thor has a very unique perspective on human life. Due to the fact that he's immortal, and he's watched humanity grow over time, he doesn't have the same biases or prejudices that we have against each other. Thor cares so much about humanity that he even joined the Avengers Unity Squad, which is a team made up of Avengers and X-Men, dedicated to bringing about peace between mutants and humans. Seeing us from an outside perspective has allowed Thor to develop a love for all of humanity, and he has chosen to become its protector from seeing the valor that we can display, especially in one such as Captain America, whom he said he would follow into the gates of Hades itself. In fact, Thor has so much respect for Captain America that at one point, when Cap was believed to be dead, Thor sent out an EMP that temporarily disabled all TV networks, causing a moment of silence worldwide for his fallen comrade. Although Thor always has his eyes on the big picture, and often protects the universe and the multiverse all by himself, Thor understands what it means to be human, because Odin confined him to walk the earth as a mortal cripple. So Thor knows what it means to be human. And he was even able to retain his knowledge that he knew as Donald Blake, whose profession was a doctor. Thor's time as Donald Blake was supposed to teach him one thing, that he needs to be worthy of his powers. So Thor now stands tall as the king of all the realms of Yggdrasil. Yet he will never forget the lessons he learned as a mortal, that he must always be worthy of his power, and that true strength is not to have the ability to fight, but to know when not to. This is why Thor is one of the big three Avengers, right alongside Iron Man and Captain America. Iron Man represents the future and everything that humanity can become. Captain America represents the past and all the lessons we've learned before. And Thor, he's the raw power that backs both of them up. To sum up what Thor means to the Avengers, yes, Captain America is usually the leader, but Thor is the one who rallies them all. He's the one who calls them to arms. To show you how he does this, I'll read a quote from Thor. "Once more then the word must be spread, and the battle clarion must be sounded. In every corner of Midgard, then, and the heavens themselves. Let the cry ring out. Avengers, assemble." That's why Thor is the ultimate hype man for the Avengers. Because he's always ready, he doesn't get tired, he's always strong, and he has so much power. And he's never willing to bend a knee to any threat. Ever. Thor loves life and he loves his friends. And he will do anything to protect them. And I'll end the video with a wise quote from Thor. "Though thou be truly pure of heart, in thine innocence, thou art fair misguided. The true guru thou seekest doth lie within thyselves. Heed you now these words. 'Tis not by dropping out, but by plunging into the maelstrom of life itself, that thou shalt find thy wisdom. There be causes to espouse, there be battles to be won, there be glory and grandeur all about thee, if thou wilt but see. Aye, there will be time enow for thee to disavow thy heritage. Yea, thou mayest drop out forever, once Hela herself hath come for thee. But so long as life endures, thou must live it to the full, else thou be unworthy of the title, man." Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Until next time.